Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Guess what? Day one of the sprint. Are you here? Are you doing it? Come on in. Waiting for y'all. Waiting and waiting. So patient. So patiently waiting. Here we go. Here comes everyone. And for those of you who are wondering, what the heck is she drinking? This is the hot melt mix. Hot melt mix. What this does is it keeps you out of carb flu, the low carb flu, also known as the keto flu. Makes you feel better. It has MCT in it, plus a lot of electrolytes, plus exogenous ketones. In other words, while you're flipping over fuel sources, this stuff helps so you don't feel crappy. So I just wanted to tell you about that while we're waiting for everyone to get in, because it's time. People keep asking me every single day, what are you drinking? Well, I drink hot melt mix, and I drink it once a day, and it's just fantastic. There's Andrea and Kimberly. Come on in, you guys. I am excited to see you all. Good, come on in. We got a lot going on today, and just want to go through my things. Do you like the curls? You guys, I'm telling you, it's fun having shorter hair. You get to play with it. So, and plus you don't have to wash it so much, man. There's Cassie. Yay. Cassie's my lunchtime date. So I'm glad to see you, Cassie. Thanks for showing up. Hi, Annie. Good to see you. So I'll show you a couple of other things. By the way, everything has shipping costs now, unless you are a member. There's my girl, Bobby. Goodness. Unless you are a member of Hot Milk Club or Take Back Your Life. However, we have a product a week that has free shipping. And if you order Fiber Mender and anything else that goes with it, you will get free shipping. So take advantage of that. Fiber Mender is amazing. It helps bring down your blood sugar. It helps you to feel full and satiated. And look at this. I'm going to show you. This is the cutest thing in the whole entire universe. Look. Isn't it so cute? Look. That's the scoop. It's so cute. I always say it looks like a little leprechaun's pipe. So I just put a little scoop in the bottom of my hot melt mix, and it will turn into a great big gummy. Marianne's saying happy sprint day. And I say to you, happy sprint day. Happy sprint day, sprinters. If you're sprinting with us, you know what the good things are. Konjac root, 100% konjac root, Nancy. And konjac is amazing because it acts like a prebiotic. It feeds your gut, and it swells and whooshes all the garbage that you want whooshed out of your digestive tract, if you know what I'm saying. It's good stuff. There's Catherine and Nancy. Goody. Also, L-glutamine. Put this in a dish. Here it is right here. We have 85 servings in this monster right there. It will get rid of your carb cravings and other things too. So that's wonderful. And last but not least, do you have your perfect paleo protein? Did you know when you order that, you get 90 recipes? 90 recipes for smoothies. There's no reason not to getting your smoothie on, guys. I'm telling you. And you want to see my last thing? Who's ready for the last thing? Catherine uses her L-glutamine like crazy. Look at the sprout farm, you guys. These guys are just, oh, it's dripping on me. These guys are amazing. These are my broccoli sprouts, and I grew them. You too can become a broccoli sprout farmer when you join our sprint group. Just go to savingdinner.com. It's all right there. I promise you. All right, let's get down to business. We've got some things to do today. Now that I've done all the show and tell, I want to share all of these things with you because these things are important and they can make a difference in the way you run your life. Believe me, I know this because I do this myself. So one thing I will ask is if you are sharing these videos. These videos are what bring people into the sprint, and we help to transform and change lives. I mean, that's what this community is all about, and it's been pretty amazing. So I love that part of being together with a community. And speaking of community, we have a Save the Date for the Take Back Your Life workshop, which is called Full Bloom. And if you want more information and find out about it, go to savingdinner.com/bloom. All the information is there. And if you're a Hot Milk Club member or if you're a Take Back Your Life member, there is all kinds of information in your membership area for you. Okay? That's where you need to find yours. Everyone else, if you're a sprinter and you're broccoli sprouts into the broccoli sprouts situation, then come on down. You got to come to the thing it's April 18th. We actually start the night before, but that's going to be pretty awesome too. All the information is there. Just go take a look at it. It's at savingdinner.com/sprint, Bloom. So now that I have told you about that, I wanted to share with you our quote of the week. Catherine likes my haircut. Do you like my curls? I did this all by myself. Yeah, that was fun. I burned myself a couple of times. This is dangerous business, you guys, those curling iron things. Here it is. If God put Goliath in front of you, he must believe there's a David inside of you. I did a full teaching on this on Saturday, so go back and watch Soulful Saturday if you haven't seen it yet, because honestly, this should be something that it stirs you within, and it makes you see the difference between you just being, just this little person out there in the world and you being the super person that God says you are. He stirs that pot in us, and we all have we all have Goliaths in front of us. What we don't recognize is that we are those Davids. So I want you to be really on top of that, and I want you to really marinate in that wisdom. That's from God himself. It's from God himself. It's in his book of all the wisdom from the ages, right there in the Bible. You can read his story and understand just how significant that is when we look at the things and the obstacles in our own life and understand that we have that ability. That's a different perspective entirely, isn't it? Then it gets us out of the wallowing and it gets us into the winning. It gets us out of the gutter and it puts us right standing smack dab on top of that mountain. I want you to see that, especially if you've, spend a lot of time in your head just grousing and just saying, why can't I? And why isn't this? And how come? And all the other stuff. I don't want you in that place of forever going back and forth and wringing your hands. I want you in the place of feeling the power that has been placed in you by God himself. Placed in you by God himself. Take a look in the Bible. Look at all the people that God chose. It wasn't because they were strong and mighty. It was because they were just themselves. They relied on him. There's a big difference. And the little shepherd boys, we're all little shepherd boys in a sense. But until we recognize the power that is within, placed by God himself, we can't get past that. So think about that and go watch Soulful Saturday again if you haven't. Because honestly, at least for me, it was just something that just really hit me square in the eyes. Like, stop complaining about all of this garbage. Stop being so wimpy and weaselly and start standing up in your power, girlfriend. Get up and stop being this passive little, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And I'm talking to myself here, but you're welcome to borrow that if you want. All right, so don't forget, if you do order your fiber mender, there is a code, and you're only going to get it here on this Facebook Live. There is a code, and it's SHIPS, like plural, SHIPS, free, all one word, no caps necessary, ships free. And if you order fiber mender, that will ship free. If you order fiber mender and 18 other things, that'll all ship free. No shipping for you as long as fiber mender's in it. Boom! Let's see what happens with that. I just think that's awesome. I love being generous like that. And don't forget, tea time is today at 3 o'clock with Marla. She always does it, the Fly Lady. That is our Wise Women's Tea that we have, and we have that tea in our shop. So, grab it, for heaven's sakes. This is a magnificent tea. You're going to hear all about that. I've got a big blog post coming on it. Q&A is Friday. Send in your questions. When you send in your questions, I can give you answers on Friday. I'll give you all the things that you want to know about nutrition, cooking, anything. Just ask me. I love it. Just ask. And what else do we have for you? That's it. That's all of it. Should we get to Motivational Monday then? I think we should. I've got some stuff. I was thinking about this because the word happy means it's according to happenstance. It's according to your environment. It's according to what's out there. And so when we're happy versus when we're joyful, joyful is from inside. Happy is dependent a lot of times on circumstances, on things outside of us, on happenstance. And that's the whole thing. But we use the word happy all the time. I'm just not happy. I'm unhappy. I'm this, I'm that. And usually there's a long list of reasons why. And, not to, again, I don't dismiss anybody's reasons or depression, or I don't dismiss people, or I'm not dismissive of your feelings or whatever. But I do want to steer you over into looking at something sometimes a little bit different. Because if we spend our time basically affecting all of these feelings that we have that are really, down in the dumps kind of a thing, then that's the thing that's going to expand in our life. That's the law of expansion, I guess, would be the thing. That's how it works. If that's what we focus on, that's what we're going to get. It's focus in, focus out. If this is it, then that's it. That's what we're going to see. And again, if we understand too that we have this brain that's amazing, that brings us evidence to support the things that we're thinking. That is like, for me, that exploded my head. I don't know about you, but I found that to be just like absolutely incredible. And it caused me to really look now for the evidence to support the things that I do want in my life. Get it? So if we have a bunch of evidence supporting what we don't want, and we just say, see, there it is, this is what happens, why don't we flip the thinking and start bringing some things in instead that we want in our lives, right? Interesting. Flip the thinking, get something different out of it, and then find the evidence. That thinking is going to be looking and searching like a search engine, like a GPS, looking for the direction, looking for the evidence to support the good stuff that we want. So an example of this, and especially a good example while we're going through, it's the sprint. It's the first day of the sprint. And I will by the way, meet me in the sprint group afterwards. I'm going to have a quick little Facebook Live in there just to kind of keep everybody motivated and going. Not the same thing, just a rah, here you are. But I will be talking after this broadcast. But, when we look at this and we start thinking about like our weight loss, for example, one of the things that I used to always say is, I can't, I look at my thighs and they grow, or I can't, if I smell a bakery, I'll gain weight. If I do this, it doesn't matter what I do, I gain weight. It's too hard to lose those last 10 or 20 pounds. And you know what? I found evidence to support that every single time. Every single time. And I remember one time we were in Charlotte. I was with my daughter, and we walked by this little bakery thing that I didn't even know was there. And I went, oh my gosh, that bakery. Oh my gosh, smell that bakery. Sure enough, the next day I got on the scale and I was 2 pounds heavier. I hadn't had anything to do that, but my body was more than happy to make those thoughts that I had and those words that I spoke true. It works that way, you guys. It's an energetic thing that we put out there, and we attract the things that we're talking about. It just comes in like a magnet. So that kind of thing is just really, that should shake you to your core and make you say, oh my gosh, the things that I'm saying are coming true because I am my body, my reticular activating system, everything about me is looking to bring in that evidence to support it. So can you imagine what happens when we flip that and we start saying the good stuff? That I lose weight so easily. As a matter of fact, the more I notice that when I drink water, the next day I'm down a pound or two. Watch what happens with the words that you have and how they create the thing that you want instead of the thing that you don't want. It's absolutely astounding. That's how that's how we're created. That's science right there. Isn't that bizarre? But to create your happy, tell Trisha, tell your son, thank you. To create your happy is it has to be an in the front prefrontal cortex of your head. You have to consciously say, I want happy. Happy is what I want. And therefore happy is what I'm going to create. Instead of staying in this place of just going through your miserable circular folder of complaints, you start creating your own happy. I'm going to show you how to do that because it is possible, it's probable, but it's up to you to do it. Nobody's going to do it for you, by the way. If you're sitting around waiting for somebody to motivate you, sitting around waiting for somebody to make you happy, you're going to be sitting for a very, very long time because all of this stuff comes from within. And when you can start appreciating and understanding the power that was put within you is put in there by God himself, you're going to look at your life in a whole different lens, an entirely different lens. That is that you can create your own happy. Yes, you can. You can create your own happy. And I've got 8 steps here. 8. So write them down. The first thing is you don't wait. You don't wait for it. I just mentioned that. You sit on your butt and you wait for it. You might as well be sitting on your butt and watching paint dry. It's just not going to happen. But you can create happy. You can go to the store and buy flowers and give them to somebody behind you in line and create a very happy woman. If you see somebody who is struggling, like a single mom struggling with a bunch of kids, and she's just having a miserable day, go buy her some flowers. Go find her out, seek her out, go buy some flowers and give them to her in the store. I dare you. I dare you. Do you think that'll make her happy? Do you think that'll make her cry? Do you think that will make you happy? You bet your bottom dollar it will. We can create happy with the littlest things. Go get your spouse a cup of coffee this time. Go do something for somebody. Say something beautiful to someone. You can create it. It's up to you. It's between your head and your mouth, and it can come out and it can create exactly the happy that you need. Because when you give out, you get back. And that happy that you give out is going to come back and bless you 10 times more than that little $5 bouquet of flowers. Okay? And secondly is biologically, you have to understand that when you do things like that, you change your entire body's chemistry. That stress hormone, that's pushed down. When you're exercising and doing things, you're bringing up those endorphins. And by the way, you can do that with food too, but that hasn't worked out so well, has it? Right? This is why we're hooked on sugar and carbohydrates. It's all an addiction problem. Really, what we should be talking about is getting over an addiction, because that's our problem, most of us, right? That's the thing that has put us into this food hostage situation. But biologically, we have the ability to alter our happiness hormones, and those are endorphins. Go for a brisk walk. Take your dog for a walk. Tell your dog what a beautiful dog he is and take him for a walk. Go, exercise. Go step on a bike, step on a trampoline, step on something. Step up and down and go up and down the stairs, and then congratulate yourself. Go look at yourself in the mirror and say, wow, look at you. You did that. You did that because you've got it in you, girl. Those happiness hormones come from within. It's inside of us. It's a biological thing. And we have the ability to tap into it. Now, we can do it destructively with food, drugs, alcohol, or we can do it constructively with some of these good things that I'm talking about, because we have those abilities. And when we understand that biologically and chemically there are things going on inside of us, and there are ways to feed that good stuff that we want, the way that makes us feel good, then we can choose a good path. We can do the destructive path, and a lot of us have, or we can do the constructive path. And when we do that, we start getting back the rewards instead of the heartache. The carousel of crazy, that's the carousel of crazy. Keep feeding that same thing. It makes us feel good for a minute, but then we have all the regret. We have that just hailstorm of guilt and remorse and all of that stuff. But if we redirect the path and do the things that were going to give us that same high, if you will, that same good stuff, we can understand that this is going to pay off in spades. This is why you see people who have gone from, fat and fabby to fabulous and 50 or whatever, the before and afters. And you see these women who have gone from former couch potatoes into being like these body lifters, and they're sitting there in their bikini model, outfits and doing all of this. The reason why they're so high on their lives is because they've tapped into that high. It's biological, it's chemical, and it's inside of you too. And this is not to say go out and become a bikini model or any of that. It's to say you have a destructive path to get that high that you want. Well, here's a constructive path, and it's going to make you a heck of a lot happier because it doesn't come with any of the consequences. The only consequence you're going to have maybe are some sore muscles and some time out and some money spent on a gym membership, but it's going to give you back 10 times more than a binge on some carbs, because that garbage is nothing but an addiction, and it's got us all. It's got us all, unless we say no to it. Okay? You've got to start counting. The number 3 is count your blessings. If you cannot appreciate and love the things that you have right now today that are in your life, then you're not going to get anything tomorrow. Nobody gives an ingrate anything. It's like I say to you all the time, you must love your body right now, today, as it is. Stretch marks, belly, cellulite, all of it, all the stuff that you curse. You must love it up. It is the vehicle that you have right now today. And you know what? It's functioning. Maybe not at optimal levels, but it is functioning. And hopefully you have all of your arms and legs. And hopefully you've had arms that have held a child and loved on a child. Hopefully you have had a hand to hold to a friend who is going through a hard time. If you have all of these things in your life, you have got some blessings to start being thankful for. If you have a roof over your head and hot water that is on command when you turn that faucet on, you have some things to be thankful for. If you're not in the hospital on death's door, you have some things to be thankful for. Can you look for them? Can you find them? Can you start writing out your gratitude? It will bring you immense happiness because you have so many things to be thankful for. It's an unbelievable needle mover, and it needs to be something that we do on a daily basis. And then number 4, man, if you haven't heard me say this one before, you're going to hear it loud and clear right now. Stop complaining. For heaven's sakes. It is disgusting how much we complain. We complain about everything. And I am just as guilty as you are. It is a darn bad habit. It is just awful. Do you understand what happens to you when you do that? Your body's chemistry goes sliding down. You completely cut yourself off from God. And you cut yourself off from that good endorphin feeling that I was just talking about. That complaining actually shrinks the hippocampus of your brain. That's the place where your memories are stored. It shrinks it. You forget about all the goodness that's in your life. You forget about all the good people that are in your life. You forget. It shrinks your brain. Complaining is such a bad habit. Can we flip that? You bet we can. Go today and go tell somebody something wonderful. I dare you. Tell somebody how much you appreciate them. Tell them what a difference they've made in their life. It could be your first grade teacher. It could be your mom. It could be a cousin. It could be a friend from long ago. It could be your next door neighbor for, picking up your kid for you when you just couldn't do it. But just go over and just tell them, you made a difference in my life. And you will make a difference in theirs. That's back to the whole thing. But it works in a full circle, doesn't it? It works in a full circle. Having that stance and standing in that place is a place of power. It's a place of power, and it's a place of love. Love conquers everything, you guys. Love is the antidote for all of this nasty horribleness in this world. Can you imagine if we loved so fully like that? Can you imagine? And how much different we would see things. Number 5 is to keep a journal. Journals are a good place to put all the stuff that we don't want to be hearing over and over again in our brains. Now, it was a few days ago, I think it was a week ago or so, I did a whole thing on, quieting the chatter in your brain. Somebody wrote me an email. I'm not kidding you. Not an email, but a Facebook message. And they said, I don't have chatter in my brain. I was like, really? Is there anybody that doesn't have chatter in their brain? I'll tell you what. We all have chatter in our brain. We all have things that we're talking about. We're going a million miles an hour. And if we can bring that to the front and see what it is that we're talking, we can start just writing down, here are the negative things I don't want to talk about anymore because they bring me down. They hold me hostage. They're awful. But here are the wonderful things that I love in my life. Here's the gratitude that I have. And in our Take Back Your Life journal, we have every single day, we write down 3 things that we're thankful for because it brings gratitude to the forefront. When it brings gratitude to the forefront, we can start being happy about just those little things. And even if it's just hot water, who cares? How many people in this world are without hot water? How many of these people would come to your house, turn on the hot water and start crying tears of joy, thinking about taking a shower or taking a long bath or washing their dishes in hot water that they didn't have to heat? Think about that and go to the extent of how and build it out and see the story. The gratitude will bring you to a place of new understanding and of creating your own happy. And ladies, number 6, remember who you are. Do you remember that? In The Lion King, wasn't it Simba his father had died and all of that? And it's remember who you are in the whisper of Mufasa, I think it was. And that was, he needed to remember that he was the son of the king of the jungle. And you, my friend, need to remember who you are. You are the daughter of a king. You are the daughter of a king. So remember who you are. Chosen, specifically, loved, adored. Everything about you is just enveloped in love. Take a minute and really think about that. Think about who you are. Because if you weren't supposed to be here, you would not be here. You were supposed to be here, chosen for this exact time in space, chosen for this exact place in our own history on this timeline. Remember that. You are the daughter of a king. Number 7, I want you to smile your face off. Do you know what that does for your whole body? That is an endorphin thing right there. That's just going to trigger it. Start smiling. Start laughing. Do you see, again, I go back to these moms that I see who are struggling and having a hard time and whose children are reacting. And we have a tendency to judge them and walk by them and say, well, that mom just, she just doesn't get it together. And so what do we need to do here? What do we need to do here? We need to love that mom up and those babies that are right there. We need to, instead of, when we see a little child on the floor and mom is just sitting there trying to get that kid up on Walmart's floor or whatever, you put your hand on that mama's back and you let her know it's going to be okay because you've been there. It's going to be okay. I will never forget this. This was in Boulder. And I saw this mom. She had she had a cart full of stuff and she had a baby in a car seat. And then she had another one, that toddler, who's climbing all over and she's trying to get the stuff out, trying to put this all out. And I saw her just do this with her hands and put her hands through her hair. And I was just driving and I put my window down and I said, "It's okay, Mama. It's going to be okay." And she just started crying, Now, I had a bunch of cars behind me, or I would have stopped that car and gotten out, parked the car and gone over and helped her. I wouldn't, but it would just couldn't. But all I knew was I could offer this woman one encouraging word, and letting her know that I see her and that she's not invisible, that she counts, and that the struggle's real, because we all have that. Acknowledging somebody like that and letting them know that they're loved and they're seen and that they count is something. And you can take that to the bank anytime. I dare you this week, how many times can you do this? How many times can you just let somebody know that they count? That they're important too in their struggle. And you could just reach out and touch them on the arm, touch them on the shoulder, pat them, pick a child up off the floor, help them out, how can I help you? Ask that question and see what happens. Number 8 is to find the happy. We have this thing called the reticular activating system that is always out there looking for the very things that we're looking for. So I've given you this example before. When you decide you're going to buy a blue Prius, suddenly you find blue Priuses all over the road. Were they missing before? No. You've been activated into this. You see them now. You see them because now you are aware that this is something that you want to bring into your life. So what you need to do with the happy is to look for it. Look for the happy. Look for the smiling baby in a store. Look at something that's going to help you. Look for all of the components of happiness. A crocus that's blooming outside. The sound of a woodpecker in the distance and taking a look and looking for it. The sound of your child's voice. The sound of somebody saying, good job. The writing down all these different blessings that come into your life. When you start to live and create your own happy, because your life is looking for happy, it shows up. It has no choice but to show up. Because it's there. It's there. And the more that we can do this, the more we're going to find ourselves living in the place of happy. We're going to be less likely to be looking for ways to numb ourselves with food, drink, alcohol, whatever. We're going to be looking for things instead to make us feel better. And as we're doing this for ourselves, how many people are we going to bless along the way? Can you imagine? So I invite you to start creating your own happy, because you can. It's available for you just as much as it's available for me. And this is how we move the needle on our lives. And we make all kinds of things happen. Completely different than what we had before. But in order to do that, we have to be actively looking for it. And I'm going to promise you, just like that blue Prius, it is out there and it's waiting for you. So today, as we begin our first day of the sprint, I'm double dog daring you to take these principles and use them this week. Create your own happy and watch how many people's lives you impact. It's going to be amazing. Peace, guys. Thanks for joining me today. Share this video. Let's bring some more people into the sprint and into our tribe, and let's support as many people as we possibly can. I appreciate you all, and thank you again for sharing this. If you need anything, you know how to get me. I'll see you over in the sprint group right now. Peace out.